lying here thinking.
With what, chum?
Brains, old boy, brains.
Yeah? Well, what have you been thinking about?
We cartoon characters can have a wonderful life if we only take advantage of it. We can do anything we think of.
What do you mean, chum?
Well, supposing I decide I want to be a mouse. Click, I'm a mouse. Supposing I want to be myself again. Click, I'm myself again.
I bet you can't be a puppy dog.
Sure I can.
Say, that's marvelous.
Go ahead, give me something hard to do.
Okay, I like music. I bet you can't be a one-man band.
Sure I can. Ready?
Hi, my name is Micah Fletcher. My genius is being able to tell stories and share them with the world. Nobody asks to be born.
Remember, this is about those little girls.
The lone survivor from Friday's Max attack speaking publicly for the first time. He's supporting the girls at the center of that verbal assault.
I got stabbed in the neck on my way to work randomly by a stranger I don't know for trying to just be a nice person. Like, I don't know what to do after that, you know? I come from a family and a background of people that help others, and that's what I did. I saw that there was help that was needed, and I tried to help.
When you look at Portland, we feel like things are changing. Lots of protests in Portland, a lot of people wanting to get their point of view across. Does it change the way you feel about the city that you've grown up in?
I think Portland is going through an immense time of change, and I think it is important for us to all reflect on what we think it means to be a part of our city and what we want our city to look like.
Yeah. Would you want other people I know other people did step up that day, but do you feel like it's the duty of everyone to do that kind of thing, to step up and do what's right?
I think it's the duty of those who can. I think being able to do the right thing is a privilege some people can't afford.
When you saw what was going on, were you simply just shocked by what was happening initially on the train?
I don't really feel comfortable with this line of dialogue,
okay.
sir. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That is quite all right. When you saw what was going on, were you simply just shocked by what was happening initially on the train?
I don't really feel comfortable with this line of dialogue,
okay.
sir. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That is quite all right.
I don't really feel comfortable with this line of dialogue, sir. I'm sorry. That's all right. That is quite all right.
Back to you now. Did you know how badly you were hurt when this happened?
Yeah, I was covered in my own blood. It was pretty awful. I was like kind of, I don't know, speed walking off the Max, screaming, for people to help me. And luckily there was this gentleman and this woman, I don't remember their names, that rushed over to me and threw a cloth on my neck and just held it there.
Yeah. EMTs get you to the hospital.
Yeah, eventually an officer arrived at the scene, and the EMTs arrived, and they all helped wheel me out and get me stitched up and recovering.
Yeah. You feel like you owe those folks something for responding quickly to you?
I owe those folks my life. They saved my life. Nothing to debate about there.
Yeah. As we were walking around a little bit, I asked you, well, how are you feeling at this point?
two very good people lost their lives that day. And I am very injured both physically and mentally. I do not feel well. And I mourn the loss of those two very brave individuals who would put their lives on the line like that. And I wish their families as much healing as they can in these times of immense trials and tribulations.
Could you ever have imagined yourself being in this kind of a situation, talking about something like this?
No, not at all.
How do you move forward from here?
I don't know.
Gonna go back to school?
Maybe. I'm just trying to heal and recover right now, man. I'm having a hard time just going outside. I got stabbed in the neck on my way to work randomly by a stranger I don't know for trying to just be a nice person. Like, I don't know what to do after that, you know? I'm healing. That's what I'm doing. As much as I can, in whatever way I can.
Getting a lot of support from people. Does that help? Does that give you a good feeling?
Yes, the outpouring of support has been immensely amazing, especially from my family. I do worry about bills in the household and how my parents can afford things, and it gives me great hope to know that perhaps for once I will not have to be a financial burden upon my parents. I don't really want to profit off of this. I want any money that, like, once the medical bills are paid off, I want the rest of it to go to the families of the people that lost their lives that day. But you know, this support's really great. I don't really know how to handle it. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah. You do realize how proud of you your folks are, and other people in Portland are of you.
Yeah, I do. I don't really know what to do with that, but I know. I'm very grateful. I just this is a very strange position to be in. It's one that I don't really have the answers to right now.
Do you feel that there's any way you can make anything good come out of this?
I hope so. I plan to. But that's another story for another time.
Micah, thank you very, very much.
Not a problem, sir.
Appreciate it.
Is there anything you want to say to the city of Portland? I mean, if you want to take a second and kind of think about what you want to say, but if there's a message you want to give, I mean, you can look right in the camera and speak to them, and we'll put it out there.
We're about to go through a very hard time. Things are happening, the world is changing. We need to remember that this is supposed to be a city where people can be safe, where children can play, where laughter can grow, and where love can take roots in the soil. And it's going to take us standing together as a community if we want that to be the Portland we live in. There's a lot of different issues that we need to tackle, but we can't attack any of those issues head on until we at least know that we can be safe in our streets from violence and hatred.
First time since coming home from the hospital on Monday.
Why is it always gotta be a battle with you people? Everybody wants to fight and skirmish. Y'all ain't here to fight.
I want to see some juggling. Please.
Here we go.
Thank you.
I'm a Nazi.
You know, that's actually pretty good. I can only do a one-handed juggle. You wouldn't debate me, but she'll juggle.
In the flesh.
I dare you to say the N-word again.
There's cops demasked. There's cops masked.
You said you were going to come demask everybody.
So what? Is it over yet? Is it over yet? Huh? Is it over yet? You want to provoke it? Is that right?
I was just wondering, have you
I don't see any of the people that wanted to demask because I'm being separated instead of being able to have freedom of movement and talk to you guys and them. I'm being separated by the police. My freedom of movement is now abridged because the police are here. All right? I don't got nothing against any of you guys. I don't care if you call me a Nazi or nothing. It's a joke. It's a joke. I'm a nihilist. I don't fucking care. Right? Let's go. There. How can you be the wrong kind of nihilist? You guys are philosophical nihilist, and I can name 10 more. You're talking to some Christians. Well, I'm an autist, bro, so we kill Christians and Muslims. We don't like Jews. We don't like Jews.
He's on his own. He's on his own.
Jewish astronaut.
No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA! 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 No Trump!
Hi, my name is Micah Fletcher. My genius is being able to tell stories and share them with the world. Nobody asks to be born. You do not sit in the sky spitting celestial signals into two minds asking that our souls be made manifested. It just sort of happens. Little sparks of stardust. Spits of light shooting from the sky into our mother's wombs, out into the world. This is the beauty of who we are. Nobody told that to Bobby. Nobody told that to the innumerable list of kids I met. If I were to list the amount of kids I met who died before even reaching the age of 18, that'd be the poem. All 3 minutes and 26 seconds of this goddamn poem. So busy arguing over what the problem is that we don't take time to fix it. See, nobody ever told Bobby to fix it. You wouldn't think that a freshman would be able to be an alcoholic, but with the kind of poverty we had to endure. Believe me, anything is possible. See, at only 14, if Bobby had had it his way, his first child would have been named Jack. His best friend was actually named Daniel. But Daniel couldn't stand watching his best friend slide into a cage of glass. So instead, he took a pass on that. Bobby, nobody ever tried to help Bobby. Nobody ever tried to take the bottle out of his hand and risk being burned. So instead, Bobby turned to the special friends inside of his stepfather's special cabinet. See, I was still special ed back then. Still too autistic to understand the complexity of the question that was Bobby, but one night, when I was trying to relearn youth into my bones, I went to a party, and as I watched my peers sip and savor their favorite flavors of death, there's Bobby, drunk again, so stupefied on this front porch that his words slurred into a banshee screech. My mother never had a father! She was raised by cigarettes and booze. I am hiding from the fact that all I know is all she taught me. And all she taught me is that my heart is like a shot glass, something small and easily emptied. This is my legacy. This is all I have to my name. What God in the sky did I offend to deserve this? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I never really knew Bobby. It wasn't until I saw the way he kept doing this to himself that I understand why he hid so many cut pieces of his heart inside of those empty bottles. Bobby, still sitting on the front porch, me, still far too much of an insomniac to ever know sleep. I walk up to the fella, and all I can do is sit, and I ask him, I says, hey Bobby. Hey Bobby, how you doing, my man? I think these are the last real words I ever heard Bobby speak. The only things that ever weren't just a drunken slur from his broken imagination. He walks to me, he says, Micah, I want to be like a stone someday. Something strong, hard, it never ages. It's been about 5 years now since he was buried. The cruel part of it is that the headstone aged, man. It degraded and eroded over time. This stone, all he wanted to be, destroyed from Portland's rain and sun and storms. And don't you dare tell me this isn't a norm here. These kids dying. I'm sorry. Dying from violence and drugs and suicide. We just keep throwing their bodies on funeral pyres. And I ask myself, how much infinite potential we have to burn before we finally learn how to stoke the fires burning in their ever beating hearts. For Bobby.
Genius. He's calm.